Let's talk about the H-1b visa. You know, it's this super important tool for US companies to bring in highly skilled talent from all over the world. But what if, overnight, the price for one of those visas shot up to $100,000? Sounds crazy, right? Well, today we're digging into a pretty controversial argument that this huge fee might actually be a good thing. So let's get into it. I mean, it sounds totally backwards, doesn't it? Common sense says a fee that high would absolutely crush small, innovative startups just trying to get off the ground. But the source material for this explainer asks this exact question, and while the answer it comes up with is definitely not what you'd expect. Okay, so here's the fundamental clash of ideas, right here. On one side, you've got this widespread fear that a 100 grand fee is basically a death sentence for startups. But on the other side, the argument we're exploring makes this wild claim that the fee will actually save them. So how on earth could that be true? Well, to get it, we've got to first understand the problems with the system we have right now. According to this source, the H-1B program has essentially become a lottery. And like a lot of lotteries, it's being systematically gamed. This is creating this massive logjam that ends up hurting the very companies it's supposed to be helping. You see this number? $215. That's all it costs to enter the H-1B lottery right now. And the core argument we're looking at is that because this price is so incredibly low, it actually encourages companies to just flood the system with applications, often for jobs that aren't really those super high-skilled, innovative roles the visa was made for. So who's supposedly gaming the system? The source points a finger at three main groups: big offshore outsourcing firms, these things called bench consultancies, the ones that hire workers before they even have a project for them, and what the source calls weak companies with shaky business plans. The claim is that these groups are just carpet bombing the lottery with applications, clogging everything up for everyone else. And the results of all this supposed gaming? A system where these super valuable H-1B slots are just getting wasted. And the argument is that this directly hurts the US economy by stopping genuinely innovative companies from getting the amazing talent they're desperate for. So what does this massive clog in the system actually mean for a legit startup? Well, according to this argument, the real cost isn't that tiny application fee. Oh no, it's the incredible amount of time and money they're forced to waste. And this timeline, wow, it really paints a painful picture. Imagine you're a startup. You find the perfect candidate, a real game changer. You spend 20 grand or so on legal fees, you file the application, and you lose the lottery. So you try again next year, and the year after that, and the year after that. The source claims it can take 6 years or more of this soul-crushing, expensive cycle just to get what they call an even money chance of hiring that one person. So when you put the two systems side by side like this, from a startup's point of view, the argument starts to make a weird kind of sense. The system we have now could cost you over $120,000 over 6 years, with absolutely no guarantee. The proposed system? Yeah, it's 100 grand up front, but with a super high chance of getting your person on the very first try, because the lottery wouldn't be clogged anymore. But the argument goes even deeper. And this is where it gets really serious, connecting the whole visa system to the world of venture capital. It alleges a scheme that it calls VC chain migration. So according to the source, this is how the alleged scheme works. A founder, already in the US, gets a huge chunk of venture capital funding. The next move is to use the super cheap H-1B lottery to hire a bunch of friends from back home. Then they pay everyone what the source calls obscenely high salaries. The alleged endgame? Defraud the investors and disappear with the cash. So from this perspective, the H-1B program isn't being used to find the best and the brightest. Nope. It's being used as a pipeline to pull venture capital money right out of the United States. Now, there's a really important detail to add here. The source makes it clear that this proposed $100,000 fee would not apply to foreign students who are already here on an F1 visa and are trying to switch to a H-1B. It's a specific exception meant to protect that traditional talent pipeline from universities. So you've got all these alleged problems. How in the world is a massive fee supposed to fix it? Well, the argument is that you should stop thinking of it as a penalty. It's a filter, a very powerful one. So the thinking goes like this. A high fee would make certain companies just decide it's not worth it and drop out of the program. The source specifically calls out big H-1B users like Infosys, Tata, and even Walmart, predicting they'd leave because 100 grand per visa just doesn't work with their business models.
And this isn't just some idea floating in the void. The source claims that several big tech companies are actually in favor of the fee. It even points to recent public comments from people like NVIDIA's CEO Jensen Huang as proof that this idea has some real support in the industry.
And this is the intended result, the whole point of the proposal. With the lottery cleared out, the path would finally be open for a legit startup to hire that one critical world-class person they need, without all the years of waiting and wasted money.
The source really drives its critique home with this very provocative term, oligarch chain migration. It defines it as a system that, in its view, has become a kind of corporate welfare, one that fritters away American venture capital and hurts the entire U.S. investment scene by enabling the kinds of schemes we just talked about. Which really leaves us with this final question. Based on the arguments we've unpacked today from our source material, is the H-1b program, as it stands right now, mostly a tool for driving American innovation? Or has its low cost made it a prime target for exploitation? It's a really tough question, and it's right at the heart of this incredibly complex debate.